Hey, Josh from Bernal Cutlery, and today I wanted to talk to you about stropping compounds, and some strategies for different kinds of steels and some compounds that are good for different materials. So for a really long time, we've been using chromium oxide in a paste form, not in a bar form. The paste is a lot easier to apply. It's a much more abrasive rich compound than something like an emulsion where you have water with a little bit of compound in it. So we're working primarily with water-soluble, water-based paste compounds that are majority grit. So they're majority abrasive compounds in the paste. Chromium oxide, that's been our long-standing favorite, and that we use for deburring from standard Japanese steels, Western steels, especially things that are finished fine, so 3000 grit and up. The chromium oxide, so for your shirogami, aogami, kind of standard Japanese stainless steels, nothing like crazy exotic. It's a fabulous deburring compound, so it will remove that little bit of burr without washing out the cutting feel that the stone leaves. So we use a blend of grit, so from around 2 micron to submicron blend, and this is Japanese chromium oxide. So there's a lot of different things out there. More commonly found are the bars, and these are meant really for buffing wheels, so the hard, waxy bars. That's a little bit harder to apply onto a strop. Not saying you can't use it, but I really prefer something that gives you a really nice, easy application, and lots of grit on that. So chromium oxide is a great fine finish deburring material for a majority of steels. If you're doing a little bit coarser finishes on softer steels, so under that 3000 mark, then borachrome, which is boron and chromium. This is a really fabulous compound. This will work with more wear-resistant steels as well, and especially for deburring edges that aren't finished so fine. So there's a lot of opportunities for longer lived edges on some real wear resistant steels going a little bit coarser. So finer is not always better. This is up to you as a user, what you like. But from our experience, getting a real fine finish on a more wear resistant steels, like for instance this S30V here, not a crazy wear resistant steel, but more wear resistant than something like this Japanese tool steel for sure. So you can find finish than S30V, but from our experience and users whose brains we picked, it doesn't seem to last as long as a little bit coarser finish, say 1000 grit finish that has a little more bite and tooth in it. This seems to last a little bit longer. Having a flat bevel is real crucial, so this is really key to edge life as well, but a little bit more tooth, and this borachrome is great for that. The borachrome cuts more aggressively than the chromium oxide on its own. Boron carbide is harder than chromium oxide. There is some chromium oxide in this to help with the polishing and to kind of carry some of the boron carbide in a way that doesn't overcut. So you, again, will still keep the scratch pattern and the characteristics of the stone that you've finished off of after you've stropped with the borachrome. And for real wear resistant steels, something like this M390, there's a huge list of them, but steels that feel very resistant and maybe don't quite work on all bench stones, especially aluminum oxide, can be a compound that's in stones that doesn't quite cut a lot of these real wear resistant steels. If that's the kind of material that you're working on, especially if you're doing coarser finishes with the real wear resistant steels, then the mono diachrome is a great compound. So this is also that Japanese chromium oxide paste with monocrystalline diamonds, and the monocrystalline diamond in this is sub-micron and a couple microns. So it's not crazy aggressive. It's not really a large particle diamond, but it is very deep cutting. It's fast cutting. The boron carbide is almost as hard as diamond, but the shape of the particle is a bit different. So a little less angular particle on the boron than on the monocrystalline diamond. Diamond comes in either monocrystalline or polycrystalline. Polycrystalline is a lot more expensive than monocrystalline. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's much better for our applications here with deburring. Polycrystalline diamond is friable. It breaks apart as you use it. So that's not necessarily ideal for use on a strop. Also, keeping the price in check is, I think important. So this shouldn't be something that's, $60 for a little bottle. So application of paste compounds is pretty straightforward. These are little Yorker bottles, and just gonna put a couple of lines of compound in here, and a little messy, but who cares? And I'm using a little palette knife to put a thin coating of compound here. We don't need to get real nuts and put a really super thick layer on. That just kind of makes for a lot of flaking. But nice thin layer, and that's it. Let it dry. I put tape on the corners so that you got a little compound free place to put your fingers while you're stropping. But over time you might get compound over the whole strop. This is one that we've been using for many years, and these are a rubber bound cork strop, and these are super durable. They hold the compound really well and make for a little bit of a irregular surface that really helps in deburring. So the compound's gonna last on here for, I don't know, seems like the chromium oxide is like 40, 50 stroppings, maybe more. Depends how coarse your grinds are. Really, if you're using like 100 grit, really coarse edges, that might bring off the compound a little faster than finer finishes. But the boron carbide seems to last just a little bit longer than the chromium oxide. In turn, the monodiachrome, the diamond and chromium oxide compound, seems to last a little bit longer as well. So that one, I don't know, 100 knives, maybe more. We've had some in use here in our busy sharpening service, and we haven't need to apply after 2 weeks of using it pretty heavily. So experimenting with using this on a bunch of different knives. And you can use the diamond on coarser finished Western stainless steels. It'll work for that, but it might be a little bit unnecessary. Making sure that you don't overdo it is important. So just enough so that you've removed the burr. And the basic motion here is just pulling the blade in the direction opposite of the edge. So we're doing a trailing stroke here. And we'll do some more videos, a little more in depth on techniques and stuff. But it's pretty straightforward. Don't do a leading cut and cut your strop. So that's probably the most important bit. And we're really happy to be able to offer these to sharpeners. And I feel like it really improved my work a lot, having effective deburring, and the presence of other compounds besides the chromium oxide really opens up different finishes on different steels. And we've been using several different compounds, several different strops up till this point. But the boron, the borachrome really has changed the way that we're doing a lot of our Western stainless steels, and just going straight off of like 1,000 grit finish onto the borachrome, where we were using two different strops before on the Western stainless, a vanadium carbide and then the chromium oxide. Now we're just going straight to the boron, and it works like a charm. and feel free to check them out on our website. The packaging might change over the years if you see a video. This video, you know, if you're coming in from the future, our packaging might have changed from these little Yorker bottles. These work fine, but the basic principles here are the same. So hope you enjoyed this. Hope this helps your sharpening, and we'll talk to you later.